Celtics Nation, welcome back to the Bleed Green post-game show, and we have a good one for you guys today, man. Ricky, we just watched probably one of the best games this season, maybe in the entirety of the season, not just the Celtics, but 18-0. Feels kind of good talking about Banner 18, 18-0, the best start to a Celtics franchise, at home in history, I believe. I think that's what they said. But 127-120 in Boston over the Timberwolves, the best defensive team in basketball. For a while there, it seemed like, that third quarter, it was typical Celtic lollygagging and choking in the third quarter, the fourth quarter. Didn't seem like it was getting better until the 4-minute mark. We were down by 9, and things started to trend our way. Ricky, this game was insane. And any initial reactions? I do want to say one thing because my chat was hounding me on it for a little bit there, but Luke Cornett early in the game looked pretty good. They wanted to hear what you got to say about Big Luke. Any words about him, and then how you feel about the entire game?
Yeah, Luke was about as good as you can expect him to be all season. He's good for 1 out of every 4 quarters. So for every 1 quarter he plays well, he has 3 quarters where he's a non-factor. Hence why he didn't play much in the second half, because we cannot rely on a guy like Luke Cornett in these games. But Fabi, to your point, this was the best game of the season for the Boston Celtics. This was the most complete game of the season. They made free throws. They passed the ball extremely well. Yes, they had a rough third quarter. Once again, you brought this up on previous occasions. This team didn't quit when the chips were down. When the team was down, they didn't quit. They didn't phone it in. The only free throw they missed was actually a gift, because it ended up being the difference maker in this game. If once again, my guy, Derek White, underappreciated, undervalidated.
Had a bad game, but a big won us the game, basically.
Pretty much.
That rebound.
Pretty much won us the game. So, kudos to Derek White. I can't say enough good things about him. All the things that he does for the team, and just what he brings to the table, game in, game out, even when he's not putting up a lot of points.
Yeah, I would. To piggyback on that, though, I feel like there was 2 really, or maybe even 3 really big turning points this game. That was one of them. That Nickeil Alexander-Walker foul. It was a tough foul, because you remember the offensive foul. I think they're up by 7 at that point, or maybe 4. It was a tough foul in the case of, if this is the playoffs, they don't call that. But they did. It was a big turning point. Definitely led us back in this game. But another big play by a guy who was having a tough game, Drew Holiday, gets a big steal over Ant, kicks it up, finds Tatum, who hits the game-winning 3, essentially. Man, Drew and Derek White had tough games, right? 5 of 15 from Drew, 3 of 11 for Derek White. But, man, did they come up with 2 massive plays here. Other than that, it looked like it was a JB and Jason Tatum show out there. 45 points for Tatum.
It was looking just like a JB show, because JT was ghost for 3.5 quarters, or 2.5 quarters. You didn't really see much of him. JB was the only reason why they had a nice lead in the first. He got off to obviously a hot start. JB was cold, especially from deep, and then Tatum just flipped a switch in the fourth. But that's what you need that kind of guy to do. He's top 3 in the league. That's what you expect out of a top 3 player. That's what you expect from your guy, your main guy.
Yeah, I mean, that was a tough game, not only because they're the best defense, but I want to give out a lot of respect to the Timberwolves, because that's a good team. They don't seem like they would be like a contender right now, but you talk about the pieces that they have, and that's the second overtime game we've played versus them. The first one they beat us. But another thing I want to point out, Ricky, is have we ever seen Jalen shoot 13 of 13 from the free throw line? Ever. I don't think he's ever shot or made more than 4 free throws in a row.
The team only missed 1 free throw.
30 of 31. That is insane.
Yeah. And the one free throw that they missed ended up being for the better.
Yep.
Because I really don't think if Drew Holiday hits that shot, I don't think the outcome is the same. I don't think we get overtime.
That was also a big shot by Drew, by the way. He was 2 of 10.
Oh yeah,
today. 2 of 10 from 3.
Huge shot.
I know he was
He was.
open.
I mean, I knew he was wide open.
He was wide open. But
Wide
like,
open.
I'm thinking like in his head, he's like, dude, I'm
Yeah.
1 for 9. I'm 1 for 9. Why
No,
am
you
I
gotta-
shooting this ball? But hey,
you gotta shoot it, man.
Had that mentality like, hey, I can make this. And he hit a big shot. He also had
Yeah.
2 steals. Jalen had 2 steals. I thought Jalen, for the majority of this game when he was on Ant, did a phenomenal job. There was a lot of switching going on, so it was only like 7 to 8 possessions that Jalen was actually on Ant. But for the most part, dude, Jalen is starting to look like one of our best defenders. And I saw a stat the other day. I don't know if you saw it. It was during the Pacers broadcast where he's actually number 2 in the NBA in field goal percentage allowed in the entirety of the NBA. So I feel like Jalen's defense this year has gone under the radar in terms of media. But, man, he's been really, really good. And I'm still seeing people saying, oh, he's so overpaid. But I'm sick of it. I'm really sick of it at this point, bro.
Just ignore him,
yeah,
man. They just want to complain. I'm sure they were. I'm sure with 3 minutes to go, they were telling you how much they sucked, and then ended up winning the basketball game.
When we were down by 9, everyone was like, "Oh, this team's not as good as I thought. We're not good enough. We need to make a big trade." Like, bro. First of
You got
all,
a bunch of casuals on your stream, Fubs. I don't know what else to tell you. You got a lot of that going on. But it's it's a complete game for the Celtics. You're not going to expect them to be efficient for the entirety of the game, but when they needed it, they got it. In the fourth, when they needed to stop, they got it. That was a tough OT for Anthony Edwards. He had the turnover, like you mentioned. He had an air ball on like a layup, like a floater, and just a floater, just a casual shot over somebody. He wasn't even trying to foul him. He's like, go ahead, take the 2, I don't care. And he airballed it. So rough OT for probably who's going to be you want to talk about top 3 in the league? Look out, that dude will be top. That dude will be top 3 in the NBA within 2 seasons.
I guarantee you he'll be making more than JB soon. And
you can put money on that he'll be top. He'll be in the top 3 conversation in the NBA. He's a dog. I do think we would have, if all players were healthy, us and them, I think we would have beaten them in regulation. Obviously not having Kristaps hurt us, and as much as I love Al, he just doesn't cut it with a high intensity team. I mean, he had a great fourth quarter, but he really struggled. You really needed more of him from that game, and we just didn't get it. But I know they were missing pieces too. I'm not saying we were all healthy, but I think if all pieces are healthy in a 7-game series, I like the Celtics in 6. I do. So they're a great team, and I think that they're a force. Do I think we'll see them in the finals? No,
probably
but
not, but they're a piece away.
But I respect them, man. They're a good team. They're a fun team. They kind of remind me of what Sacramento was last season. They're a lot of that Sacramento-esque, a lot of good young guys that are just putting in that work. Plus Karl Anthony Towns, which is obviously more of a seasoned veteran. But they're a fun team, man. And I look forward to future matchups because that team's young and they're not going. And it doesn't look like they're gonna. Hopefully, they don't change the construction much. Hopefully, this is a nice little matchup for years to come, not just the season.
Yeah, definitely.
Most entertaining game of the year by far.
For sure. We have an
so
interesting
entertaining
one tomorrow as well. Bucks. I feel like we're gonna rest some guys, but yeah, like you were saying with the T-Wolves, I think they're one piece away. If you add a DeJounte Murray, if you add a Zach LaVine to this team, they could be a contender this season. But when you talk about development,
they got a lot of young pieces that you have to maybe give up for a player like that, unless you're giving up draft capital. Yeah. But because their young guys are dogs, man. They were killing. A lot of them were killing it. They had six players in double figures, I think it was, or 7 players in double figures. So guys were balling, man. Guys were balling out like crazy, and it's even their bench was scoring. So it was tough to imagine the Celtics were going to pull off this game. But like you mentioned in the past, they've quit. They've quit on the team in other seasons, and this they dug in their heels and they crawled their way. I mean, they were literally down 6-7 points, which almost seemed like they weren't going to get back in it. And obviously that 4-point possession really helped them. But it's crazy, man. I mean, they really are a different team this year. You can see it, not just the statistical record, but just visually, you see the type of team that they've become is greater than what they were last year, for sure.
And when you talk about the positives of this game, The one downside was the third quarter again was sloppy third quarter. We bounced back and forth.
It's like a curse. We're like cursed.
It is. You know what it
Fourth
is.
quarter.
But that was the only bad thing of this game. I mean, look at the stats. We shot 40% from three. You take
Second quarter wasn't great. They cooled down, especially from three. They cooled down from three. They were a prime example of a tale of two teams. Yeah, but it's a tale of two teams. It's like Jason Tatum wasn't playing well anyway. JB was shooting the lights out, and then guess what happens? The three ball stops falling. What happens when the three ball stops falling? They don't know how to adapt. And again, this is Joe Mazzulla's offense. So you're seeing the tale of two teams. When the three ball falls, they win these games. When it doesn't, we lose. The difference was in the fourth, they started to fall in our favor, but that's not always going to work. So I really wish that we would adapt better. And I guess that's really the one negative I can take from this. But overall, great win.
Yeah, great win. All the positives, like we said, 3-point shooting at 40%. Love that. Free throw percent is 96. Hit 30 of 31, dude. If Jalen can hit free throws from now on, oh my God, he's going to be deadly. Rebounding-wise, we only gave up 8 offensive rebounds. We had 7. That's fine. Take that. At 21 assists, there 22. Take that. Turnovers only 8. That is big. We usually have like 14 to 15. Great day.
Free throws, 3 free throws and passing was the best I've seen all season.
I think this could be a sign of what's to come here in Boston. Obviously,
hopefully.
Still a lot of season left to go here. Big game tomorrow, but this is a big win. Keeping that home record alive. I feel like at this point they want it. They really do want it. You can tell that look on Jason Tatum's face going to OT, man. He was not coming out of there with a loss, and they're really taking that record right now, and they're trying to build upon it. So that's a good sign here for us, and hopefully we can continue it. Maybe even tomorrow.
It's a great win
versus the Bucks. A very big win, guys. We're dropping a podcast in a couple of days from now, so make sure you guys stay tuned for that. Hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, join the family, and comment down below. What do you think was the biggest turning point of this game? What play, what player, what happened that made you think this game is the Celtics to lose at that point? So comment down below your opinions, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace. All right, perfect.